All right, everyone, welcome to our High Performance Leadership webinar. My name is Sean DaSilva. I am your webinar support sergeant as well as the Area 62 director. This webinar is going to cover all your questions in regards to what a high performance leadership project is. We're going to talk, here's our agenda for tonight. So we'll actually define what a high performance leadership project is, how you'll select your guidance committee, come up with project ideas, get that all important action team, how you'll get credit, handle challenges, then Q&A, and at the end we will have a raffle. We're raffling off 3 complete kits of high performance leadership. So you'll get 1 manual and 3 guidance committee manuals. That's a great prize. You must be present at the end of the presentation during the raffle in order to qualify to get the raffle. So please stick around for the entire presentation. So what is the High Performance Leadership Project? It is a part of the Advanced Leader Silver, and it's meant to introduce our members on how to be basically a project manager. What are the benefits of a high performance leadership project? It's going to challenge you to use all your leadership skills. So think of all the skills that we learn and we practice in the Competent Leadership Manual. In a high performance leadership project, you are going to be using all of those skills and more. So it's highly recommended that members complete the Competent Leadership Manual before they attempt a high performance leadership project. It's not a prerequisite, but I would highly recommend that first step before they took on this challenge, because at least then they will have all the skills that they will need for this project. High performance leadership projects are a structured way to learn how to do project management. And the great thing is these are projects that you are going to care about. A lot of times we take on projects that we don't have any control over. These projects you do, and this is something that you are going to have hopefully a lot of passion about. So it's a great opportunity to learn while you are doing something that you are passionate about. The High Performance Leadership Project is a 5-part process. This is probably the biggest misconception with the High Performance Leadership Project versus everything else we do in Toastmasters. Because previously in Toastmasters, everything you did the work, and then somebody gave you an evaluation, and then that's how you got credit. With a High Performance Leadership Project, it's very different. You have to get the manual first, and then you have to start the process before you actually get into the project. So the first part is learning about leadership. In this part of the HPL, you'll be assessing your leadership skills, those skills that you find that you are very strong in, and skills that you will need to work on. You do that by taking a kind of lengthy quiz. And then at the end, it will give you what your results and where you are strong as a leader and what skills you need to work on. During part 1, you will also recruit your guidance committee. So this is a very important step because at the end of part 1, you will meet with your guidance committee to actually choose your project. A lot of people think, before they start an HPL, oh, what project am I going to do? What project am I going to do? Not necessary. Get the manual, assess your leadership skills, meet with your guidance committee, and at this point, you can come in with a few different ideas, but at this point, your guidance committee will actually help you decide what project you will actually do. In part 2, choosing your objectives, this is where you are going to create your vision statement, what the mission of your project is, and establish some core values for your project. In part 2, you will also give your first speech to your club, sharing your vision. So this is basically where you will introduce to your club what your project is actually going to be. In part 3, winning commitment to your objective, you're going to start recruiting your action team. And we'll talk more about what the difference between the guidance committee and your action team is. But you'll start recruiting your action team, and you're going to create an action plan. In part 4, you're actually going to start to work that action plan. But you will also go over any problems that are coming up in the project. You'll start to evaluate how you'll handle conflict. You will most likely maybe reevaluate your plan, and you'll also seek feedback from members of your action team. And in part 5, analyzing and presenting your results, you'll put together everything that you've learned from your HPL project, and you will give your second speech, which actually is the only other speech you will give, presenting the results. And that is the final part of the high performance leadership project. It's important to note that at the end of every part of the HPL, you will meet with your guidance committee. They will evaluate your progress so far through the high performance leadership project, give you advice and so forth, but you will be meeting with your guidance committee at the end of each of the 5 parts. So let's talk about the very important first step, and that is finding your guidance committee. So what are the things that you should be considering in what a good guidance committee? My first recommendation is find people who you know, people who already have worked with you, understand your leadership skills. It's very important. I'd like to tell you a quick story of during my HPL, I met for the first time with my guidance committee, and I showed them the assessment of where my leadership skills are. And my opinion is, with any kind of assessment, people tend to either over or underscore themselves. And one of my guidance committee members who knew me very well looked at the assessment and said, you know what, I think in this area, you might have overscored yourself, but in this area, you definitely underscored yourself. And you should give yourself a little bit more credit there. So it was great to have that conversation with someone who knew me, where if my guidance committee was a bunch of strangers, they wouldn't know to have pointed that out. So try and recruit at least a few members who know you. I highly recommend a size between 3 to 5 members. 3 is at least the minimum, because you want to be able to get feedback and advice. And any less than 3 members of your guidance committee, you may not get enough. If you go more than 5 members of your guidance committee, then you may run into some logistical problems, that getting everyone together, tracking everyone down. So try and keep your guidance committee manageable. It would be great to have a mixture of experience and knowledge. So if you have a few ideas of what kind of project you want to do, try and find some guidance committee members who have experience with those kind of projects and can share some of their knowledge with you. It's very important that the members of your guidance committee, as you're recruiting them, you're asking them to join your guidance committee, know what the time commitment is and what their responsibilities are. If they've never gone through a high-performance leadership project, you want to explain to them what the project is, the HPL itself, and how they will help you as a guidance committee member. So it's very important at the very beginning, set clear expectations. So let them know this is how often we're going to meet, at least 5 times at the end of each part of the HPL. Give them an idea what the approximate end date is. How long is this project going to take? Is it going to be 6 months? Is it going to be a year, 2 years? it's very important that they know how long they're going to have to be committed to this. Let them know what your goals are. What are you trying to accomplish? Are there particular leadership skills that you'd like to get out of this project? So these are some of the great guidelines. And letting your guidance committee also know that you want them there to give you advice, to be a mentor, but you will be making all the final decisions. This is your project. So let's talk about what are some ideas for a high-performance leadership project. People ask me all the time, what can I do for a high-performance leadership project? And the answer to that is anything. It's really limited only by your imagination, but there are some categories that we want to talk about tonight, and some areas where you can draw ideas from for a high-performance leadership project. Obviously, from your involvement in Toastmasters, community, or even the company you work for. So let's talk about some Toastmaster-related projects. The one that I think a lot of people overlook is being involved in district or club leadership. Are you an area director, a division director? Maybe you're the president of your club. You can actually use that leadership role to do a high-performance leadership project. Starting a new club, conference chair, TLI dean. These are all things that are important leadership positions within Toastmasters that would make great HPL projects. These are some ideas for community-related projects. Very important. Your HPL project does not need to be something specific to Toastmasters, because we want this to be a project that you are passionate about. So maybe you're very involved in your community. Maybe you want to have a charity event. Maybe you're involved in your children's PTA. Make sure whatever the project is, if it's something in the community, you check with the proper authorities to make sure that this will be okay with them. Company projects are also something that you can definitely use a high-performance leadership project. Maybe you know at work there is a big project coming up that your boss has already told you about, and you think, hey, this might be something I can get credit for my high-performance leadership project. Make sure you clear it with your company first, especially if they don't have a corporate club where you work. But any kind of work-related project that fits into the 5 parts that we talked about would be a great opportunity for a high-performance leadership project. The next step is finding your action team. Now, it's very important to establish the difference between your guidance committee and your action team. So your guidance committee is there to advise you and kind of evaluate you through the process of each part. Your action team is the people who are going to actually help you to accomplish the project. So what should you consider in recruiting members for your action team? Well, consider your project. At this point, you should know what project you're doing. You've already established what the vision is, your mission, what your core values are going to be. So you can use those to kind of think about who you want on your action team. Obviously, people who are subject experts in the particular project that you are considering doing would be great. Very important. Try and find people who will share your vision and you could work with. Another story from my own high-performance leadership project. Again, that very first meeting when I met with my guidance committee and we established what my project was going to be, one of my guidance committee members came to me and said, hey, I think I've got somebody that would be perfect for your action team. They're very passionate about the same thing that you're going to try and do with your project. So it was clear that this person and I would hopefully share the same vision, but I'd never worked with this person before. So I did try to recruit them onto my action team, and we started to discuss the project, but it was pretty clear from the beginning that we didn't share the same vision, and it wasn't clear that if we were going to work well together. So you want to try and make sure that those are really important steps, because you don't want to recruit anyone onto your action team that's going to slow down the process of getting your project done. You also want to let people on your action team know that what your goals are, and maybe find some people that can help you with the particular skills that you're trying to improve upon. Maybe you know someone that is really good at delegating, and that's something that you want to be able to improve as a leader. Maybe recruiting them to your action team might be helpful. So think about those skills as well. And just like with your guidance committee, we want to establish clear expectations. So time commitment, how long the project is going to be for, how long they will be involved in the project, share with them the vision of your project, and let them know how will they contribute to the project. It's probably very important that you don't ask someone, hey, be on my action team, without telling them what their role in the project will be. So how do you get credit? This is another question that I get all the time. How do you get credit for High Performance Leadership Project? Well, High Performance Leadership Project is different than any other award that we have in Toastmasters. Typically, we just fill out an application, hand it into our Vice President of Education, and then they submit it to World Headquarters. In High Performance Leadership Project, it's a little bit different. So after you've completed all 5 parts of the project, you are going to complete the what they call the Leadership Excellent Award application. On that application, you will need to get at minimum 1 signature from your guidance committee. Hopefully you can get everyone on your guidance committee to sign on your application. You'll also need to get the signature of your Vice President of Education. You'll then also make a copy of the evaluation sheet from Part 5, presenting your results. And then you will submit your award to World Headquarters yourself, either by mail, fax, or email. And there's the email address right there, educationawards@toastmasters.com. So you'll send in the application, the copy of your evaluation, and then World Headquarters will let you know that you'll get a certificate saying you have completed your High Performance Leadership Project. So I wanted to share some advice for overcoming objections, overcoming challenges. So as challenges arise, for me, the best thing to do was address those challenges immediately. Now, you may not be scheduled to meet with your guidance committee till the end of a particular part in the HPL, but use your members of your guidance committee. Call them, email them, set up a conference call. Say, we're facing this challenge in the project, and get their advice. Sit down with members of your action team and say, I see that we're having this problem or this challenge, and discuss it with them as well. So use your team members, guidance committee, your action team to overcome any challenges. But remembering that any challenges that arise during a high performance leadership project, you're the project manager. You're the person that needs to figure out how you're going to correct those problems, and everyone needs to understand that you have the final say. This is a really important part of the leadership process. So that is the end of our presentation.